What about a gold-backed currency? Now, that could be actually a threat if it was done right. I've proposed that what they should do is have a gold-backed currency board. In other words, they would issue, let's call it a brick. You issue a brick, and one brick is worth so much gold at a fixed rate. And the brick would be backed 100% with gold reserves. So the brick would be as good as gold.
BRICS nations China and Russia may be stockpiling some of their massive gold production to support a new currency to rival the US dollar. This is according to Daniel McCarthy, a strategist at dailyfx.com. Steve Hanke is a professor of applied economics and founder and co-director of the Institute for Applied Economics. In this video, Hanke states that Russia and China's growing alliance in BRICS as a potential challenge to the US dollar dominance. The 6 new countries that will join BRICS are Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Argentina, Egypt, Iran, and Ethiopia. The combined overall GDP of the new 11-member BRICS will reach a total of $30.75 trillion in 2023. The US GDP currently stands at $25.5 trillion, and the new BRICS are ahead by $5.25 trillion in that of the United States economy. The BRICS group is more economically powerful than the US and could go further if they capture the global oil markets. Meanwhile, Hanke highlights the impact of the conflict in Ukraine and US sanctions, which he believes have fueled anti-American sentiments. Recent trends and developments, most notably the Russia and Ukraine war and its consequences, indicate that the dominance of the dollar may encounter substantial obstacles. Now we are presenting you the glimpse of Steve Hanke insights from his recent interview with Jay Martin Show. Before we continue to delve into this discussion, we request you to subscribe to our channel and activate the bell icon for timely updates.
The BRICS, this is due to the war in Ukraine and sanctions by the U.S. And as a result of that, it's enlarging a group that is morphed into an anti-American group, basically, and anti-West, shall we say? But America is, I know you're up there in Canada, but America is the only thing that counts. They're the only one really financing the war in Ukraine. If you look at the big bucks going into it, and they're the ones that run the show. So either you run the show or the show runs you. And the imperial power is America, and it's running the show in the West. Now, opposed to that has become, all of a sudden, we have Russia and China coming together, and BRICS expanding. And the rhetoric coming out of BRICS is definitely anti-American, anti-sanctions, anti-American, de-dollarization, and this kind of notion that the BRICS would have their own currency. Now, they could. It's very difficult to challenge an international currency. If you go back 2,000 years, there have only been 13 international currencies, dominant international currencies. So they stick around for a long time. But the United States, with these sanctions and weaponizing the dollar, they have made it more vulnerable. They've opened a little window of vulnerability. Now, what have the challenges been so far? Well, the challenges have been mainly coming from China. China wants to do bilateral trade in the renminbi. India wants to do bilateral trade now with the United Arab Emirates and the Indian rupee. It doesn't amount to much. India has a big trade deficit with the United Arab Emirates, but who in the United Arab Emirates wants to settle that trade in rupee? Who in the world wants an Indian rupee? So it's all these bilateral trade. That's kind of peanuts. Gold-backed system and gold-backed currency. It would be definitely, I think, a legitimate threat and challenge to the U.S. dollar. Whether they're going to do that or not, I don't know. We don't know. They've been very vague. They've been what they have up their sleeve. No one really knows what they have up their sleeve, except they mention the word gold, gold-backed currency, but we don't know the details. But if they did, as I'm proposing, a gold-backed currency board, it definitely would be a threat, because there have been over 70 currency boards historically, and none have ever failed. They all work because they're very simple, transparent entities that they issue a currency. The currency trades at a fixed exchange rate with whatever the anchor currency happens to be, which could be gold, and the currency that's being issued is backed 100% with whatever the reserve currency is. So the issue currency it's obviously by nature, by definition, as good as the reserve.
During the interview, Steve Hanke shared his thoughts on the enduring relevance of gold in the international monetary system. Changes in the global financial system could propel gold even higher over the coming months and years as a bloc of nations are moving toward introducing a currency that will incorporate gold. Meanwhile, Hanke is bullish on gold, particularly noting central banks' ongoing gold purchases and gold's safe haven appeal during crises. Institutions added 55 tons of the yellow metal to their reserves last month, continuing a recent uptick in buying activity. The World Gold Council said that, having reported a return to net buying in June, the latest data shows global central banks continued to add to their gold reserves in July. Let's get back to interview.
Gold, as Nobel laureate, my good friend, the late Robert Mundell, said, gold will always have a role in the international monetary system, and it does now. Your question is, well, is the role going to get bigger or smaller? I think it's probably going to get bigger. In a way, that's because of this reaction to the sanctions, financial sanctions that have been associated with the United States and the European Union, by the way. But this weaponization of the dollar has opened the window a little bit for gold. So, and it depends on really what, for example, what BRICS, for example, does. If they actually did a gold-backed currency board the way I propose to do it, that means, by the way, what? That my draft law for this, I've actually drafted up a law for it and everything else. And it would be housed in Switzerland. It would be governed by Swiss law. The reserves would be held in Switzerland. And the board of the currency board would be a 5-member board. Only 2 of them, perhaps 3 maximum, would come from BRICS countries. The rest would be outside. For example, maybe one from Switzerland. Get a good neutral country. So if they would do that, gold would become a lot bigger in the picture. Fundamentally, the central banks are buying gold. I think fundamentally, I'm pretty bullish on gold. For that reason, among others, I think we're headed into a recession in the United States, and gold's always a good bet in a recession. Thanks in part to their entanglement with the Ukraine war, it's starting to go into recession. I mean, Germany is in a recession. Sweden has just tipped into recession, and gold is always a good bet during a recession. And I think the U.S. will be in a recession next year.
The evolving dynamics in the global financial system suggest that gold's role could continue to grow in the coming months and years. As a group of nations explores the possibility of introducing a currency backed by gold, the precious metal's significance may rise further. With the given expansion, BRICS control 30% of the global economy. In addition, the new BRICS could take the lion's share of the world's economy by 2050. How might the emergence of gold-backed currencies impact the global financial system? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you find this video informative, don't forget to show your support towards our channel by giving this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications to stay informed about our latest videos covering more interesting topics. Thank you for watching.